So I made it to hard mode in Terraria. In case you didn't know, the game of Terraria is split into two parts. When you first spawn into your world, you are in pre-hard mode, and then once you get into the underworld and defeat the Wall of Flesh, your whole game changes, and you enter hard mode. In hard mode, the mobs are much more challenging and stronger, the loot is a lot better, and everything is completely different. So in this video, I wanted to show you guys my adventure in Terraria and how I reached hard mode. So on my first night in the world, I was trying to defeat some zombies, I was collecting some fallen stars, and all in all, I was just trying to survive to the next day. As the morning dawned, I began building another room so that a new villager could move in. And right after that, I went into the caves for the first time to explore, and I found my first bit of loot, which was pretty awesome. Around the same time, I also gathered some cactus so I could make some cactus armor. Once I had some armor, I was able to go back into the caves and I found my first golden chest. And inside of it, I found a mace. I didn't end up using the mace, but it looks pretty cool. In that same cave, I also found another golden chest, and it was surrounded by traps, so I actually died and came back. When I went back to the overworld, I started making some ropes and climbing into the sky because I had an inkling that there was a sky island nearby, and I was correct. After exploring the skies, I made my way to the jungle and I defeated this bat, and that bat dropped a bat, which was pretty funny. In the underground jungle caves, I found myself a life crystal which I used to increase my maximum hearts, and I also found a bunch of chests. By this time, I was feeling ready to face the first boss of Terraria, which is the Eye of Cthulhu, and the fight was pretty chill, it was not too challenging, and I got a lot of demonite ore as a result, which I will use later. Having beaten my first boss, I was feeling very courageous, and so I went into my corruption biome, and I began defeating the Eater of Worlds, and after defeating the Eater of Worlds, I got so much amazing loot. After that, I thought it would be nice to take a break from the boss fights and start setting up some pylons around my world, which are kind of like teleportation devices, helping me travel from one area to the next more quickly. And the morning after that, I got a message saying that a meteorite had landed in my world, so I went to explore, and there were a lot of these meteorite guys trying to hit me, and I was also able to mine a lot of meteorite, which I can use to make armor. Then I went back to the jungle to go do some caving, and I found this tied up goblin who would become another one of my villagers. I also found a life crystal, which was pretty sweet. And then I went back to the overworld and I found this very massive tree. As I began digging down the roots of the tree, I discovered that it had a whole underground area with a chest, and in this chest there was a finch staff, which allowed me to summon a baby finch, which helped me in my fights later on. But if you keep going down this tree, I was very surprised to find that there was this cave area, and it had a sword in it. This sword really reminded me of Excalibur because it was so cool, but it's not Excalibur, it's actually the enchanted sword, and whenever you swipe, it shoots a projectile. And that projectile became super duper handy when I was fighting Skeletron, who is the next boss in the game. So Skeletron is the guardian of the dungeon, and the dungeon, it's this area in the world that you can only enter after defeating this boss. So here I am in the dungeon and I am descending, and I found my first golden chest, and inside of here I was super shocked to find a godly Muramasa, which is an incredible weapon. As I was exploring the dungeon, I also found a potion of gravitation, which allowed me to invert gravity, and that allowed me to explore the skies of my world. And so I found another sky island, and this sky island was incredible because it had a star fury and also fledgling wings. Fledgling wings are super rare and they allow you to fly, so I was freaking out. Around the same time, I also went to fight Queen Bee in the underground jungle, and using a space gun, which I crafted from meteorite bars, I was able to defeat her pretty easily. And then as I was mining ores in the underground jungle, I also found this strange golden circle thing which produced gold coins. I have no idea what it was, but I'm super grateful for the gold coins. After all of that was said and done, it was finally time for me to dig down to the very bottom of my world, which is the underworld. And the underworld is filled with so much lava and this ore called Hellstone. Hellstone was super amazing because it allowed me to craft very great armor later on. It also helped me to create a weapon which was like a fiery sword, and using that fiery sword alongside other swords, I was able to craft the Knight's Edge at a demon altar. And the Knight's Edge is this incredible weapon that I love so much. Around the same time, strangely enough, King Slime spawned in. This guy is usually one of the first bosses you face in the game, but he had never spawned in for me. So now that he spawned in, I was way more than prepared to fight him with my incredible weapons. Now that I was decked out with molten armor and very strong weapons, it was finally time for me to face my destiny, to face the boss of all bosses. The boss which would send me into hard mode, and that of course is the Wall of Flesh. So the Wall of Flesh has these 3 eyes, and it chases you all across the underworld, either from left to right or right to left. And here I was getting stuck, but it kind of bounces you back. But I was not too worried because I had this incredible Knight's Edge and also this Flame Lash fiery weapon, and using both of those weapons I was able to take out one of its eyes, and I eventually defeated the entire Wall of Flesh. And after defeating the Wall of Flesh, in the left bottom corner of my screen, I saw this message. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please let me know and I might make a part 2 where I try to tackle hard mode. And thank you all so much for watching, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.